2016. Spring was approaching. I decided to take my chances on Disney's newest film. Went in with low expectations, came out with everything exceeded. I even cried. 7 years and one official expansion later, we have the confirmation of the sequel. I am Rokalai. Welcome to Rated Exploited. The original film lands in the genre of buddy cop comedy. Is it safe to expect the sequel to be no different? In the modern day, Disney has made a habit making each sequel more different than its predecessor, animation especially. Check out how different Ralph Breaks the Internet and Frozen 2 are to their predecessors. They're a whole new story with very little connection to the prior installment. If Zootopia follows suit, does this mean the sequel will have nothing to do with identity and racism? Would this entail, pun not intended, would this entail a whole new genre being introduced? I recall a quote from the Henry Ford Museum: "Never try to replicate your past success." This could mean Disney will pursue an entirely different idea for the sequel. It makes every amount of sense. But if I can theorize, what genre, what idea could they explore and make it relevant and relatable to what was established in the first film? Wreck-It Ralph is about gaming. Ralph Breaks the Internet is internet culture. Looking at Zootopia, it's about coexistence as the overall theme. Because the duo are now a cop duo, why not make the sequel a crime comedy? That alone might as well be an adverse term and an oxymoron. The movie and Disney Plus have established a great amount of crime throughout the city itself. From the rhinos in the past to Duke Weaselton in the modern day. Jason Bateman himself expressed in the same year he wants Nick and Judy to crime bust across the city in the next installment. Naturally, it's an obvious theme and counterpart to the police force in any fictional adaptation. By the strength of Judy's morality and Nick's knowledge of the crime side, this proves a proper genre to build off into the new movie. When making this video, I started to think about culture and history, and then my mind traveled to the status of countries, from first world to third world. How can I put this mindset into Zootopia? Then I realized the adverse outlook. Within the movie and its DLC, Zootopia Plus, we only see domestication. What if the film could explore a traditional culture retroactively living a life in the wilderness, comparable to, say, the Amish? This idea has potential, thinking of how the two societies would clash. The sequel could explore the coexistence of the wild and the domestic, the challenge and even the overlap of culture, not favoring one side or the other, but really what works best for each. The disciplines would not be so different to our own world. I would love to see animals transitioning between the societies, focusing on their challenges and their struggle, and even ridicule from their family when they want to lead a life of their own in an entirely different society. We knew Zootopia would first be expanded on Disney Plus. revealed and finally released last November of 2022, truly is an expansion as the entirety takes place throughout the runtime of the original film, focused on the multiple characters introduced apart from Nick and Judy. It's like an official, heartwarming DLC. New characters, small and large, new locations, residents, and especially new origin stories. New life in the already vivacious city of Zootopia. How does one expand or build upon these new characters? How do you pick up from the original film? Only one thought comes to mind: the full backstory of Nicholas Wilde. In the first movie, we receive so much depth into Judy alone, her upbringing and her motivations from age 8. Nick only has a single flashback in the movie, remains the only piece of history we have to his own past. Prior to becoming the deuteragonist, Nick was the focus of the movie when it began production in 2013. We have the original pitch behind the scenes of his struggle as a predator within a herbivore world. This does provide the opportunity to show the newly canonized backstory to Nicholas. I want to know more. How he came to Zootopia. Could his family have rejected him upon becoming a con artist? I desire to know. I wholesomely want to see his upbringing and how he became who he is prior to meeting Judy and becoming the individual we see at the end of the film. My penultimate desire for the sequel happens to be based on irony. Throughout the history of Disney films, watching the animation to even the live-action adaptations, there's a whole list of tropes to how the boy and the girl eventually fall in love, from princess to the not-so-royal. Many of the traditional films are in fact insta-love, even when they've only met once. Then there's more believable premises, such as Stockholm Syndrome and Beauty and the Beast, to more wholesome build-ups of romance, such as Anna and Kristoff, who build a meaningful relationship as friends before love finally takes a hold of them both. And the third category, again, I will define it as irony. The couple that was never meant to be, nor designed for a relationship, form a meaningful bond over struggle, empathy, and relatability, ironically making a better couple compared to the animation norm. The more the movie emphasized they are not romantic, the greater they proved to be perfect for each other. This, by definition, is a paradox. Before seeing the movie in March 7 years ago, I did not pair them up, let alone pair them romantically. But discovering so much about themselves through each other makes them the perfect couple, an odd couple even. Yes, I want this to happen. Moving on from my penultimate choice and desire for the movie, my biggest hope is the overall larger picture in regards to the sequel. Something to accompany both the characters and the expansion beyond the city itself. An expansion on species, going beyond mammals into reptiles, amphibians, avians, and vertebrata. The original themes are deep, far more than one can comprehend by trailer alone, appealing mostly to the child demographic. Zootopia displays a bright, cheery story of determination and self-actualization. Discovering its genre of buddy cop comedy confirms any interpretation of the advertisements. The fictional reality, see what I did there? An in-depth, dehumanized animation of protagonist and deuteragonist, learning about each other while challenging role and acceptance in a domesticated society. Wolf Children is also dehumanized, and the only additional film I can rank besides Zootopia. Yes, I am comparing a dark fantasy anime to a family-friendly animation. Definitive proof, they are superior examples of anthropomorphic depiction. This is where the new movie needs to thrive and build off its predecessor. 2016 proved a big year for anthropomorphic animal animations.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
But Zootopia remains dominant, treating its characters as beasts, not humanized animals playing dress-up. As I stated in a previous video, link in the description, so many films do nothing with animal characters apart from appealing to kids. Disney Animation finally abandoned this trope, setting an example that no one has followed, though you could argue Beastars. In perspective, take the audio of any one of these movies, and you'd think they are humans and nothing more, having no depth and a hollow effect, forgotten a week later. I had every amount of doubt when the film was revealed in 2013. Concept art and a basic premise, what we know is the original dark pitch, before being altered in 2014. At worst case scenario, Disney would again animate animals into an urban setting, treating them no different to the multiple human characters in the decades expanding ensemble. I am grateful being proven wrong when Disney gave what I wanted for so many years. Toy Story 3 blindsided, claiming its unrivaled magnitude as the best in its franchise. Zootopia baited and enticed with familiarity, only to switch and delve into a dark, bestial endeavor. I'm ready for the movie to strike again, going against expectations, fleshing out fur and hide of the 2016 masterpiece. If I have whet your appetite and you crave additional Zootopia content, I have 7 additional videos, one covering each episode of Zootopia Plus, and the glorious dehumanization of the film itself. Each link is listed below. Your views are appreciated. Your subscriptions are an open pod welcome. I am Rokalai. I upload weekly Saturday night right here on Rated Exploited. Happy 7th anniversary, Nicholas and Judith. I anxiously look forward to your reunion.